The next part we are going to deal with is how do acids and bases react with metals. Now metals are calcium, magnesium, aluminium, copper, zinc. These are called metals. If I take any one of the metal and react with an acid, the general formula is that acid reacts with metal to form a salt and hydrogen gas. Now this is a general formula. Mostly all the metals react with acids in the same way. So if I say generally, I will write what is the general formula. So metal and acid reacts to form salt and hydrogen. Now this hydrogen gas which is released or which is after the reaction is there, we see that some gas is coming out. How to test it? Here where one important question which is asked every time, how do metals react with acid and how will you test which gas is evolved? So first you have to write the general formula. Acid reacts with metal to form a salt and hydrogen gas. I can take an example of zinc. Suppose I take a zinc metal and I react with acid. It can be HCl or it can be H2SO4. Now what salt will be forming? Zn will react with the chloride part and it will form ZnCl2, and along with it hydrogen gas is evolved. I'll first try to balance it and then we'll do it. Now this is the reaction of an acid reacting with a metal. Here the metal can be aluminium, calcium, magnesium, iron. So any metal will react with acid to form a salt and hydrogen gas. In the last time we were doing how the metals react with acids, and we had discussed the reaction of acids with metals. If we talk about general reaction, acid when it reacts with metal, it gives salt and hydrogen. When hydrogen is released, it comes out in the form of bubbles, and this hydrogen, if tested with burning splinter, it will burn with a pop sound. This is a general reaction. If I take a metal, say zinc or aluminium or magnesium, and react with an acid, this acid can be hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, you will get a salt formation. That means in this case zinc chloride is formed and hydrogen. This hydrogen is coming out in the form of bubbles. Now what do you think? Whether the metals are able to react with bases also in the same way? All metals do not react with bases in the same way. There are some metals who only react with bases. Other metals do not give out hydrogen gas. The metals which are called as amphoteric metals, for example zinc, aluminium, silicon, these are called as amphoteric elements. Amphoteric metals, when they react with acid, they give salt and hydrogen. As I have written, all metals do not react with base. The amphoteric metals are generally reacting with base, giving out hydrogen. So this is the general reaction of metals with acids. Now what about the reactivity of acids towards carbonates and bicarbonates? Now what are carbonates and what are bicarbonates? If I give an example, any metal carbonates, I can take sodium carbonate, aluminium carbonate, magnesium carbonate. So these are the carbonates. And if I ask you what are metal bicarbonates, so it can be sodium bicarbonate, aluminium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonate. What's the difference between them? Carbonates are shown by the radical CO3 and bicarbonates are shown by the radical HCO3. So this is the difference between carbonates and bicarbonates. Then how do these carbonates react with acids? There is an activity given in your textbook 3.11 on page 25. Let us discuss that activity. Take 2 grams of aluminium carbonate in boiling test tube. Now what is a boiling test tube and what is a normal test tube? The boiling test tube is made of hard glass tube which is heat resistant. So obviously large amount of heat is produced. Therefore we require such a test tube which will not break because of heat. So take 2 grams of aluminium carbonate in boiling test tube. Add dilute HCl to it. Do not allow the gas to escape. Through the delivery tube, allow the gas to pass through the decanted solution of chalk with water. Now chalk with water solution becomes lime water. And what are they telling us? I'll just show you with the help of a reaction. Aluminium carbonate is AlCO3 thrice. Aluminium carbonate reacts with HCl and gives out a salt which is called as AlCl3, then plus water plus carbon dioxide. So they have said in the activity that the gas should not escape. So in these 3 products, what do you think which is the gas? Obviously carbon dioxide is the gas. So I can show with the help of arrow upwards. Now this carbon dioxide is allowed to pass through lime water. Now what is lime water? Calcium hydroxide is called lime water. So CaOH twice is lime water. Through which the carbon dioxide is passed. This is the activity which is given. We are discussing that. So lime water, through the lime water, carbon dioxide is passed. It forms CaCO3 plus H2O. And this turns lime water milky. Initially, the lime water was not milky. It was a clear solution. So when we pass carbon dioxide through it, it turns milky. This is the test for carbon dioxide. How I told you what is the test for hydrogen? The test for hydrogen is if we bring the burning splinter, the hydrogen burns with a pop sound. Same way, what is the test for carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide is a gas which when passed through lime water, it turns milky because of the formation of calcium carbonate. So this is how acids react with metal carbonates and metal bicarbonates. What is the difference between the reaction with metal bicarbonate? So we saw how metal carbonates react with HCl or any acid. We saw the example of aluminium carbonate. Let's see another example. Sodium carbonate, which is very common carbonates. So sodium carbonate is Na2CO3. Let us react it with acid. So this is a sodium carbonate, any metal carbonate reacting with acid. What do you think the product will be? The product will be NaCl plus water plus carbon dioxide. So the gas released is carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide can be tested by passing it through lime water. And when we pass through lime water, the clear lime water will change into milky color, and that is the test of carbon dioxide. Now there is an activity given again in the blue box on page 25. What will happen if baking soda is treated with dilute HCl? Now what is baking soda? Sodium bicarbonate is called baking soda. So what is the formula? NaHCO3. This in general terms is called as baking soda, and in chemical terms it is called as sodium bicarbonate. So if baking soda is reacted with HCl or acid, so what will be formed? Here the reaction, though it looks this is carbonate and this is bicarbonate, the products formed will be same, NaCl plus H2O plus carbon dioxide. So carbonates and bicarbonates, when it reacts with acid, it forms one salt, water and carbon dioxide as the product. Now next we see how the reactivity of acid is with metallic oxide. Now there is another activity, activity 3.12. Now how do metal oxide, when I talk of metal oxide, It can be any metal, that means sodium, copper, aluminium, magnesium, zinc and iron. So all these are oxides. So if I say that magnesium oxide, MgO, copper oxide, CuO, so any of the oxide if I take and if I react with acid, what will happen? Let's see what is the activity about. Take small amount of red oxide. Now red oxide is CuO or copper oxide. It's generally red in color and therefore it is called as red oxide. Take small amount of red oxide, add a few drops of HCl. What do you observe? And what is the chemical formula of red oxide? As I just said, the chemical formula of red oxide is CuO, and this CuO, when it reacts with acid, it will form a salt which will change its color, and this red color oxide will change to blue color salt. What will be the reaction? CuO is the red oxide, or I can say copper oxide. It reacts with HCl forming CuCl2 plus H2O. So this is the reaction and we can balance it by writing here 2. Here the red oxide changes to blue color. So what observation you will write? You will say that we observe that a salt is formed along with the change in the color. Here the red color was there and here blue color will appear. And this is how the metal oxide reacts with acids. What about non-metal oxides? Now how this non-metal oxides, what is a non-metal oxide? We can take any non-metal like carbon, like sulfur. So what is the oxide? When carbon reacts with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. This is a non-metal oxide. What about sulfur? Sulfur forms sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide. So simple example. If I say carbon dioxide is a non-metal oxide, how does it react with base? Okay, now not the acid but the base. So if I say carbon dioxide is a non-metal oxide and it reacts with a base, say calcium hydroxide. Now it's said in your book that how do non-metal oxide react with the base? So I have taken a very simple base. This is a lime water, calcium hydroxide. So it forms CaCO3 plus H2O. So metal oxides react with acid producing salt and water. Non-metal oxide reacts with the base forming salt and water. What about the metal oxide reacting with base? Can it react? No. Metal oxides are not seen to be reacting with any of the alkali or base. Now what is the difference between alkali and base? The bases which are soluble in water are called alkali. Actually they are base, but they are called as alkali as they are soluble in water. But they do not react with alkali. That means the metal oxides do not react with alkali. Next part is, if we have seen how acids and base react with metals, react with carbonates, react with bicarbonates, react with oxides, how do acids and bases react with each other? Now this is very important. If I give you an acid and if I give you a base, will they react together? Yes, they will react together, and that reaction is called as neutralization reaction.